Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today I am riding along some of my favorite scenic roads, peaceful tree lined lanes, riverside roads, and rustic village paths. The weather is perfect, the roads are quiet, and it's ideal chatting to talk about something I have been meaning to cover for a long time. Motorcycles that were brilliant machines but failed commercially in India. Now there is a bike I am riding right now. It's in the top of this list, but I will do a separate video for this one. But you can see glimpses of it here. You can guess its name. If you find the motorcycle, then please comment down below. Today, though, we'll focus on all 6 other bikes that deserved more love than they got. These bikes are style, power, comfort, and innovation. Yet, somehow the Indian market did not embrace them. It's always fascinating to see how even a great bike can fail because of timing, marketing, or just the choices buyer make. So let's get started and explore the stories behind these underrated motorcycles as we ride through some truly beautiful roads. Now let's start about with the Hero Impulse. This bike was way ahead of its time, a 150cc dual sport motorcycle when most Indian riders only cared about mileage or oriented commuter bikes or sporty street bikes or sports bikes. The Impulse was light, tall, and built for bad roads, exactly like the ones I'm riding on right now. Long travel suspension, off-ride sitting position, and confidence on broken roads made it genuinely useful, especially in rural India. So, why did it fail then? Simple, the market was not ready. People didn't understand dual sport motorcycles. It looked odd, felt unfamiliar, and it was too niche at that time. But here is the interesting fact. If Hero brings back the Impulse today, with modern design, fuel injection, better tires, and proper marketing, it will sell like a hot cake. Today, bikes like Expulse have already proven that Indian riders are ready for adventure bikes. The Impulse was just too early. It didn't fail because it was bad. It failed because it arrived before its time. Now let's talk about another beautiful machine, the Bajaj Pulsar F250. And honestly, this bike didn't fail off its engine. It failed because it didn't feel like a Pulsar. The first reason the bike failed is the size. When you park the F250 next to Pulsar 220F, it actually looked smaller for Indian buyers. Bigger size presence matter, and the F250 simply didn't have that road dominance. Secondly, the character. A Pulsar is supposed to feel aggressive, raw, muscular, and slightly wild. But the F250 felt too calm, almost like a tamed Honda. Smooth, yes, but not exciting that classic Pulsar punch was missing. And then came the biggest mistake, features at the launch. When it arrived, it did not have dual sport channel ABS, and the rear tire was not even a thick 140 section. In a segment where buyers expected safety and visual muscle, this hurt badly. So, riders asked a simple question: why should I buy this over a Pulsar 220 that looks bigger, feels more aggressive, and costs less? The F250 wasn't a bad bike. It was just not a pulsary enough. And in India, that's a deal breaker. Now, let's talk about the Mahindra Mojo, a bike that had serious potential but made some costly mistakes. First, the front design. Let's be honest, the Mozo looked weird from the front, and the large headlight and windscreen setup didn't appeal to the most Indian buyers. And in India, looks matter a lot, especially the front view. Secondly, the after sale support. Mahindra motorcycle service experience was inconsistent. Parts availability was the biggest issue. Trained mechanics and service confidence were all questionable. Many riders simply didn't trust Mahindra when it came to long term ownership. Third, performance and its competition. When the Mojo launched, the bikes like Honda CBR 250 and KTM RC 200, Duke 200, RC 390, Duke 390 were offering sharper performance and better brand recall. Later on, the Dominor entered the scene and completely changed the expectation in this segment. And finally, the pricing. The Mozo was expensive for a brand that had not yet earned trust in premium motorcycle space. Riders expected more value for the price, which Mahindra failed to offer. The Mozo wasn't slow or uncomfortable. It just got trapped between poor design choices, weak after sales, and brutal competition. Now let's talk about the Yamaha FZ25S, a bike that looked promising on paper but disappointed many riders in real life. The first problem was technology. When bikes like Apache RTR 200 were offering riding mode, slipper clutch, better electronics, and modern features, then the FZ25 felt outdated in front of that. It simply didn't give that new age feel buyers were expecting. Second, the gearbox setup. There was no sixth gear. In a segment where the Gixxer 250 and Domino 250 offering 6-speed transmissions, the FZ25 felt stressed on highway, long rides become noisy and less relaxed. Then the third reason is the build quality of the body parts. While the engine was reliable, the plastics and finishings felt average. Over time, rattles and panel gaps became common complaints. And then there was the calculator style instrument console. Functional, yes, but visually outdated. In an era of digital and TFT displays, it felt cheap and uninspiring to many riders. Finally, the maintenance cost. Yamaha reliability is pretty good, but the spare parts and service costs were on the higher side of the motorcycle. For a 250cc bike that didn't offer premium features. So buyers started asking why pay more for less tech, fewer gears, and average build. That's where the Yamaha FZ25 slowly lost its place. Now let's talk about the Suzuki Gixxer 250 and SF250. Bikes that were actually engineered very well in terms of build quality, paint finish, chassis, and engine refinement. Suzuki did a really solid job here. This is one of the better built motorcycle in this segment, but Suzuki made some strange decisions. First, features. At this price point, bikes didn't even get LED indicators, and there was no slipper clutch. Forget traction control, quick shifter, cruise control, and riding modes. Even basic expectations were missing. Then comes the biggest problem, especially with the SF250. The front design. From the front, SF250 looked too similar to the Suzuki Botman scooter. That rounded, bulky, similar looking headlamp killed this sporty identity. A fully fed bike is supposed to look aggressive, not comfortable like a maxi scooter. Because of this, many people didn't even give the bike a second look, despite its superior build quality and refined engine. So, the Jigsaw twins didn't fail because they were bad bikes. They failed because Suzuki misunderstood what Indian riders expect emotionally: features, aggression, and strong visual appeal. Now, the last bike in the list is the Continental GT 535. The Continental GT 535 was a bold step for Royal Enfield. It was heavy and powerful, but not everyone liked the heat it produced on longer rides. The seating position was a bit cramped, sporty, yet comfortable for a calm ride on normal roads. It was not cheap, and that limited its audience. But this bike was never just about numbers or sales. It was about teaching lessons, handling, power delivery, and what riders expect from a cafe racer style Royal Enfield. Every time you ride it, you feel its character, the engine's growl and low end torque, and the way it leans into corners on a smooth roads. It leaves an impression. This bike didn't fail because it was bad. It failed to find its crowd at that time. But without it, the GT650 and future Royal Enfield performance bikes wouldn't exist. In many ways, the GT535 was a pioneer, showing the path forward for the brand. Not every bike is made for everyone. Some are flashy and sells like crazy, while others quietly reward the riders who understand them. Today, we rode through stories of bikes like Hero Impulse, Pulsar F250, Mahindra Mojo, Yamaha FZ25, Gixxer 250S or SF250, and the Continental GT535. Each had its own charm, its own strength, and some missed their time. These bikes remind us that sales do not always reflect quality. Some bikes are meant for people who feel them, who appreciate their character. And the bike I'm riding today, well, it deserves its own story in another video. If you enjoyed this ride and the stories behind these amazing bikes, please like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for joining me today, and I will see you on the next ride. Bye bye.